السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسول محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. From amongst the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, there are certain companions whom we know a lot about. Entire books have been written on their biographies, the likes of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, the likes of Umar radiallahu anhu, and so many others. But yet there are other companions radiallahu anhum who we really don't know much about. And if you look through the books that deal with the biographies of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, you will only find perhaps an incident or two about their lives. But yet, despite the little that we know about them, there is still so much for us to benefit from them, that even that one story gives off such motivation and such inspiration to all of us. Now, one such Sahabi radiallahu anhu was Sa'd bin Khaythamah al-Ansari radiallahu anhu. If you look through the books that deal with the biographies of the companions, you will likely only find one incident pertaining to his life, and that is the rich conversation that he had with his honorable father Khaythamah radiallahu anhu prior to the Battle of Badr. When the news got to Sa'd radiallahu anhu that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was going out for the Battle of Badr, he came to his father and he told his dad that I really want to go out and I want to participate in this campaign with the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So the father Khaythamah al-Ansari radiallahu anhu said, no, I want to go out and I want to participate with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now the ideal scenario would have been for both of them to go out and participate, but there were women, there were children in the house that needed to be taken care of. So one of them had to stay back to take care of the family responsibilities. Therefore, Khaythamah radiallahu anhu, the father says that, oh my son, I want you to stay back and you can take care of your sisters, of your brothers, your younger siblings, and I am going to go out with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The son insists, no, I'm going out. And they continue to argue back and forth that who is going to go out and who is going to participate in the Battle of Badr. Finally, they agreed to draw lots amongst themselves, and whoever's name comes out, that will be the individual who will have the good fortune of participating in the battle with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah Ta'ala had decreed it such that the name of Sa'd bin Khaythamah radiallahu anhu, the son's name, came out. And it was his good fortune to go out. But the father once again insisted. He said, no, as your dad, as your father, I am telling you that I want you to stay back. I really want to go out. So the son gave such a profound answer. He said, oh my dear father, لو كان غير الجنة لآثرتك به وإني لأريد الشهادة في سبيل الله. If this discussion was pertaining anything other than Jannah, I would have definitely given you preference over myself. If you had asked me for my wealth, I would have given it to you. If you asked me for my time, I would have definitely given it to you. If you needed assistance in something, I would have assisted you. But now Jannah, the discussion is about Jannah, that who is going to be able to give his life for Allah Ta'ala and earn Jannah? Oh my dear father, this is something which I cannot give you preference over myself. This is something that I want for myself. وَإِنِّي لَأُرِيدُ الشَّهَادَةَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. I want that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses me with martyrdom in His path. Look at this rich conversation which is taking place between father and son. That how fortunate was Khaythamah radiallahu anhu to have a son like this, that his only wish and his only desire is that I want to go out and give my life for Allah Ta'ala. What are the asks, what are the wishes and the desires of the children of today from their parents? That I want the latest phone, or I want the latest gadget, the latest, Apple Watch. Well, these are the things which the children of today will ask their parents for. But the children of Sahaba radiallahu anhum, look at what they are asking their parents for. That, oh my dear father, I want to go out and give my life for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So nonetheless, Khaythamah radiallahu anhu, when he hears this response from his son, coupled with the fact that his name was the one that was selected when they drew lots, he was compelled to allow his son to go out and to partake in the Battle of Badr. And Khaythamah radiallahu anhu, the father, he stayed back to take care of the family and the children. Just as Sa'd radiallahu anhu had intended and he had hoped for, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with martyrdom in the Battle of Badr. I mentioned a few days ago that in total, in the Battle of Badr, you had 14 shuhada, 8 of whom were from amongst the Ansar, and 6 of whom were from amongst the Muhajirun. From those 8, we had spoken about Umayr ibn al-Humam al-Ansari radiallahu anhu a few days ago. And also Sa'd bin Khaythamah radiallahu anhu is from those 8 also, who was martyred in the Battle of Badr. Now when the news got back to the father Khaythamah radiallahu anhu, he was extremely grieved, he was extremely saddened. Yes, on the one hand, he must have been happy that, you know what, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed my son with martyrdom in his path. This is a great ni'mah, this is a great blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا. As Allah ta'ala mentions, that don't think that those who have given their lives for Allah ta'ala, that they are dead. بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ يُرْزَقُونَ. Rather, they are alive in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is taking care of them. But still, despite that, he was very close to his son. His son would help him, he would assist him in his daily matters, in the chores in the house. So he really, really missed his son. And he continued to grieve over the passing of his son until the following year, when the Battle of Uhud came about, and news came that the Prophet ﷺ is leaving for Uhud. That is when Khaythamah radiallahu anhu became extremely excited. And he was from amongst the first to prepare himself to go out and to partake in the Battle of Uhud. And he hoped from Allah Ta'ala, just like Allah Ta'ala had blessed his son with martyrdom in the Battle of Badr, Allah Ta'ala would grant him martyrdom in the Battle of Uhud. The night before the Battle of Uhud, he saw a dream when he saw his son Sa'd bin Khaythamah radiallahu anhu in Jannah. And he was strolling through the gardens of Jannah, and he was clothed in these beautiful white garments. And his son, he says his face was radiant, it was shining with nur. So the son Sa'd bin Khaythamah radiallahu anhu tells his father in the dream that, "Oh my dear father, inni qad wajadtu ma wa'adani rabbi haqqa." That definitely I have found the promises of my Allah Ta'ala to be true. The blessings, the bounties of Jannah that Allah Ta'ala promised me, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has fulfilled that. Allah Ta'ala has given me all of that and much more. But there's one thing that I continue to miss, and that is your company. So why don't you go out and give your life for Allah Ta'ala in the Battle of Uhud, so that the two of us can be reunited in Jannah. Khaythamah radiallahu anhu came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he narrated his dream. And then he asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Ud'u Allah ta'ala yarzuqani ash-shahada." I want you to make a special dua for me, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses me with shahada, with martyrdom in the Battle of Uhud. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua for him, that Allah ta'ala blesses him with martyrdom. And yes, indeed, from amongst the 70 shuhada of Uhud, one of them was Khaythamah al-Ansari radiallahu anhu. And we have no doubt that inshallah, definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have united both father and son in Jannah. Now, one lesson that we can take home from this incident of Khaythamah, Sa'd bin Khaythamah radiallahu anhu, and his father Khaythamah al-Ansari radiallahu anhu, is the importance of creating a healthy environment, an environment of competition for a'mal within our homes. Imagine if father and son could compete with one another, then who can go more days without missing salah with jama'ah? Who can perform more salahs with jama'ah, not just salah with jama'ah, but even takbiratul ulas, that who can go more days without missing a single takbiratul ula? This would be such an amazing competition and such an amazing environment that this would create within the homes, within our homes. This is the month of Ramadan, the month of Quran. Imagine if we could have, or we could initiate this competition in our homes, that who can complete the most khatams of the Quran. If there are multiple children that are hufad in the home, then who can complete the most number of khatams in Salatul Taraweeh? These are the things that we should be competing for. وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. When the month of Ramadan comes, it comes in the hadith that an angel announces, يَا بَاغِيَ الْخَيْرِ أَقْبِلْ وَيَا بَاغِيَ الشَّرِّ أَقْصِرْ. That, oh, the seeker of good, advance. This is the time to rise up. This is the time to compete in good deeds. وَيَا بَاغِيَ الشَّرِّ. And all that individual who is seeking to do something evil, then restrain yourself, control yourself. This is not the month to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to follow in the noble footsteps of the companions radiyallahu anhum. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullahu Khairan. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.